Hey guys, Javier here. I'm gonna show you a trick or some tricks of the trade to making the perfect ribeye steak. Look at this. I've salted this steak and basically I covered it with salt and I pushed the salt in and I left this overnight in the refrigerator. And what that did is that reabsorbed the salt in. It took out all the liquids, then the liquids came back in and reabsorbed the salt. Now what I'm doing is I'm drying the steak as much as possible. You want to get this dry as a bone. Now remember, you want to allow yourself time for this process. This is a beautiful fatty steak with some beautiful marbling. I'm going to show you how to make the perfect one. Now I've got some household implements here. I've got some pins. And here's what I'm going to do. First of all, I'm going to put some pins under this steak on the plate here. And the purpose for that is going to be to catch the juices that are coming out. There are still juices coming out of this bad boy. I'm going to put this in the plate again on these pins to sort of elevate it. See that? And now let me show you what I'm going to do. You dry a little bit more here because there is more moisture coming out of this, and that's perfectly fine. I'm going to put this bad boy in our state-of-the-art freezer here. So got this freezer. I'm gonna move this aside. I'm gonna put that ribeye steak right there in the freezer. And we're gonna come back, ladies and gentlemen, in 30 minutes time. I'm gonna show you what's going on. All right, guys, let me show you our mise en place here. Mise en place, I think that's the right way to pronounce it. We have our trusty cooking implements here. I've got a very simple setup here, ladies and gentlemen. I've got an onion that I've chopped. I've got some asparagus that we've pre-boiled. I'm going to show you what to do with that. I've got a very finely chopped tomato. I've got some rosemary here that we're going to use fresh from Tom Thumb. I love this rosemary. And I've got some mushrooms which we're about to wash. I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, I have a beautifully semi-composed salad. Now, I was reading something about, they were saying, you know, well, Greek salads are very interesting and American and South American salads are boring. And I think nothing could be further from the truth. While I love Greek salads and I love arugula and all of that, a good old American salad, the way that we're going to prep it today, there's nothing better, ladies and gentlemen. So stay tuned for that. I'm still waiting a few minutes to get our beautiful ribeye out of the freezer here, and we'll see where we go from there. Look at that beautiful ribeye, ladies and gentlemen, just pan searing. And the secret to this, as all of you know, is to leave it alone. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, leave it alone. Do not touch it. And we're going to sear this for about a minute and a half until it gets that beautiful Maillard reaction. We're going to show you what happens on the other side and what we're going to do on the other side, which might be interesting to you. Stay tuned. Okay, guys, we're getting ready to flip it. Look at that. Look at that beautiful Maillard reaction. This is exactly, ladies and gentlemen, precisely what we're looking for. Look at that crust. We're going to do the same thing on the other side here. And then we're going to show you what we're going to do. Now, here's the deal. I got our meat thermometer here, which we're going to turn on. It's a little bit broken, but we're going to try to use it. We're going to try to turn it on. See if anything happens there. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Got temp alert. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our meat thermometer here. I'm going to set our temp alert to 130, which is even a little bit high for me, but it's the way a lot of people like their steaks. I prefer it rarer. So here's what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the, shall we say, the trick here. Here's what we're going to do. So here's what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to plug this in to the steak. Then when we put it in the oven, we're just going to let that alarm be our guide here. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this in to this. Now here's what I'm going to do. Let's see how our steak's going on the other side. Let's see what the Maillard reaction is doing on the other side here. Looking pretty good, ladies and gentlemen, that maillard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put rosemary sprigs on the bottom, and we're going to show you what happens from there, ladies and gentlemen. Those are going to keep it from scalding in the oven. Turn the heat off. And I put those rosemary sprigs. Now what I'm going to do is put a dollop of butter on the top, ladies and gentlemen, and that's going to melt as this bad boy's in the oven. And I'm going to go ahead, probably one of the best ideas, I'm going to go ahead and stick this probe thermometer in there. And right now, it's showing me the temperature of the steak. What am I going to do right now, ladies and gentlemen? I'm going to put this pan, so to speak, in the oven. And I'm going to try to get it in the lower third of the oven, which it's not going to let me do. So I'm going to have to turn this off. I'm going to put it in the lower third of the oven, and we're going to leave it in there until the temperature gets to 130, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll show you what goes on there. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm basically just doing a light toast on my asparagus here. I put some salt and pepper and some butter. And we are just going to basically baste this asparagus lightly and lovingly for just a few minutes, because I've already boiled this beforehand. They're already pretty soft, and I am just going to cook these very nicely, very lovingly. I've got my pot heating up here, my pan, so to speak. I'm going to go ahead and put my onions in. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I've chopped these up beforehand, my mise en place, we are going to finely, shall we say, caramelize these delicious onions, about medium-high heat. We're going to see what happens from there. We're going to caramelize them. We're going to put them in. And the best trick I've learned for caramelizing onions is you got to do it like this. You don't move them around a lot, ladies and gentlemen, but rather what you do is you try to concentrate them in the pan here, and you want to put salt on them, because what the salt's going to do is going to help draw the moisture out. When you're caramelizing, you're trying to draw the water out, so I'm putting salt on those. Those are going to taste just delicious. We're going to caramelize those for a few minutes till they turn a beautiful royal brown, ladies and gentlemen. And then when they turn brown, we're going to add the mushrooms, and we're going to caramelize those. Very simple meal here, ladies and gentlemen. Some onions, some mushrooms caramelized, and the beautiful asparagus, which is almost ready. We're almost going to, after a few more minutes, after just lightly frying these, we're going to take these out. We're going to probably put them in some aluminum foil so they'll stay warm, because we're going to be waiting on the steak for probably 20 or 30 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, while it's slow cooked. And we'll show you what we're doing from there, ladies and gentlemen, when these caramelize. Ladies and gentlemen, look at these onions that they're starting to brown, and they're starting to caramelize. Look at that. Look at that. This is exactly the caramelization here that we're looking for. They're getting sort of translucent. They're getting sort of limp. They've got that, some of them have that browning effect on there. That's good, that's what we want. It means the water content is leaving them. Now what we're gonna do, I've washed these mushrooms, these shrooms. We're gonna go ahead and put these shrooms in with the mixture here. What we wanna do with the mushrooms is the same exact thing that we're doing with the onions. We're gonna caramelize them. We wanna get the moisture out. So what am I gonna do? You're right. We're gonna add some salt here. So I'm gonna get some salt here. Not only does it have a delicious taste, it gets the water out. Remember, we are the salt of the earth here. That's why we're salting our mushrooms. I'm gonna mix these in here, mix them in really good. I'm gonna turn up the heat just a tad bit so that the water can start leaving these mushrooms as well. Then I'm gonna show you a little trick that I use to get this stuff nice and soft and yet not soggy. We're going to show you here in a few minutes here. Oh, by the way, another little beautiful trick that's going to make this beautiful. Well, not quite yet. I'm going to show you in a few minutes here the trick. So the water content, ladies and gentlemen, the water content is quickly leaving these mushrooms. When the water leaves, that's when the flavor comes out, ladies and gentlemen. Trick number one, I put some butter in there. Always put butter towards the end because it burns. So I put butter in there. That's going to give more flavor. And I'm going to turn down the heat to probably medium low. Now the second trick, ladies and gentlemen, to get these beautifully warm and yet not soggy is I'm going to cover this for a few minutes, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to put a cover on it and we're going to leave it there for a few minutes. We're just going to wait and see what happens with this deliciousness. We're going to take the cover off every few minutes to stir it. I'm going to put the heat even to like medium low. And then we're just going to watch these onions and mushrooms just turn into this beautiful delicacy that we're going to have with our steak here. So stay tuned for that. Guys, I don't know what's up with this lie about American salads being boring, but that's certainly not the case in my house. We're putting some olive oil on it here, just a little bit of olive oil. And I'm going to flip this around here. This is a composed salad, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. I'm going to flip that around. Now what I'm going to do while we're cooking everything here, I'm going to get our tomatoes, these delicious tomatoes here. Look, we're just going to arrange that on like so. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some Ken's Steakhouse ranch. I could have made ranch, but I didn't really feel like it. Salt and pepper, and we're going to put some cheddar cheese on it to top it off. I'm going to show you what it looks like after we compose that. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be our appetizer for today. Very quick one. This is pretty much done. We're just now in the waiting phase for the steak. I just want to show you this mushroom, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to show you this. This is just delicious. It's perfect, ladies and gentlemen. Perfect mushroom. Very delicious. So, ladies and gentlemen, I pulled our ribeye at about 127 because I like it more rare. And the first observation, ladies and gentlemen, it's so tender, it's almost falling off the bone. Look at that crust there. Now, the final touch to this, ladies and gentlemen, the final touch is, look at this. I've got the rosemary and I've got the butter and I've got its juices. I'm going to take one of these rosemary sprigs. I'm going to get some of the juices and I'm going to basically slow baste all the juices and butter into that steak. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get the juices here. We're going to get some of the juices with that rosemary sprig. That's flavor, ladies and gentlemen. That's flavor. And look, I'm going to do this on both sides of the steak, ladies and gentlemen. Then we're going to set up our plate. We're going to taste the steak. And we're going to show you how it turned out, ladies and gentlemen, coming right up. I'm going to baste this. I'm so excited. So, guys, we've plated this ribeye, guys. We've plated it. And now it's time for the moment of truth here. This is the moment of truth. So now, guys, we've plated the ribeye with asparagus and the caramelized onions and mushrooms on top. And look at the juices of that. We've basted it. Now, here's the moment of truth, ladies and gentlemen. The moment of truth is coming now. All right, my friends, we are at the moment of truth here. I'm going to cut into this ribeye. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Show you how tender it is, what it tastes like here. I'm going to cut it off. This part, I'm going to have it later, but I want to cut a good piece of that ribeye so that you can see how it looks here. It's very tender to the cut, ladies and gentlemen. It's very tender to the cut. Look at this. Look at this. To me, this is a perfectly done, medium rare ribeye. Look at that. Let's taste it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a great ribeye. Beautifully tender. It's like the meat's falling off the bone, ladies and gentlemen. I'd recommend that you cook this recipe immediately. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to dig in. I'm going to eat my salad first, and we're going to dig into this ribeye. So, this is Javier signing off with another cooking video. I will see you guys on the other side.